In this video, you'll get to know about what are the different types of SQL commands. So there are lots of SQL commands that are available. So to easily remember those SQL commands, we divide the SQL command into various categories. So we have almost 6 categories of SQL commands. The first category is DDL. So the full form of DDL is data definition language. The second category is DML. DML means data manipulation language. The third category is DCL. DCL means data control language. The fourth category is DQL, means data query language. Okay, so the fifth category is TCL, means transaction control statement. We can say statement instead of calling L. We can say TCS. TCS, transaction control statement. Okay, the last one is DAS. The full form of DAS means data administration statements. So we have lots of SQL commands. So in order to remember those commands, it's very difficult to remember all those commands. It so we have categorized the commands into 6 fields. Okay, so in order to remember easily, we divided those commands into 6 categories. Okay, so we have DDL, DML, DCL, DQL, TCS, and DAS. So let's see what is meant by DDL. DDL. The full form of DDL is data definition language. So what is meant by definition language? So it helps. So suppose if any user wants to perform any kind of operation in database, so it helps the user to create. Okay, so it helps the user to create or to alter or to delete. So what database objects means database. Inside database, what we have tables, we have data, we have lots of things, right? Columns, rows, data types. So it helps, these DDL commands helps users to create, alter, delete database objects. Okay, so what are the commands that comes under DDL means? The first command is it helps to create, right? In creation of a table, it helps to create the table, or else create, we can say database, we can create database, or else we can create views. Okay, these are the things that helps. We can create index. Okay, so these are the create commands in DDL. So we can also alter the table. We can also alter or rename, we can say. So we can alter the table. We can just, this is one more category that like in DDL. So we can alter and we can alter database also. Okay, then we have a delete option. So delete option, what we can delete? We can delete table. We can delete database. So these are the commands that comes under DDL. Okay, so I hope you understood. Also, we can, sorry, also we can delete uh, view and index. We can also delete view as well as index. So just remember, guys. So these are the operations. These are the commands that comes under DDL. So DDL helps users to create, delete, or alter the database objects. What means? data that is present inside a database. Okay, so it helps users to create table, database, view, index. Okay, it helps data users to alter the table, or else it helps user to alter the database as well. So it helps users to drop the table and drop database, or drop views, or drop index. These are the commands that comes under DDL category. Okay, so the next second category is DML. So what is mean by DML? DML means data manipulation language. So data manipulation language. So what is the use of, what are the commands that come under DML? So it basically helps users to insert, okay, or else we can say modify, like okay, like data that we have already inserted, right? We can change, right? We can say modify or delete. We can say delete. So what we can do, we can insert, we can modify, or we can delete. What the things that we can do? The data in database. So it helps users to insert the data, or else modify the data, delete the data which is already present inside the database. Okay, already present, just remember guys, which is already present inside the database. So this manipulation, so the word manipulation represents changing of things. Okay, so the first category is DDL. DDL means creation of the data, creation of views, like that thing. So after creating, what we do, we suppose if you want to insert, okay, the data, it helps. DML commands helps insert, this modify and delete. So these are the three commands that we basically used in DML. So the commands are, we can say in modify command comes under modify, represents update command. We have update command. So what it basically does, it performs operation only on the data. It performs operations only on the data inside database. Okay, so it perform, just remember guys, it performs operation only the in the data in the database. It doesn't perform any operations on database. It performs operations on data, okay, in database. So these are the things that comes under DML category. Insert, update and delete, these are the three commands that come under DML category. The third category is DCL. So what is meant by DCL? The full form of DCL is data control language. So what is meant by data control language? So what is data control language? So we have we have lots of databases and servers. Uh, we have lots of, suppose if any user created a database, one more user created one more database. So there are lots of users creates lots of database, right? So it has to be secured. The user, suppose we have user A, user B, user C. So we have lots of users. Suppose imagine we have lots of users in database. Suppose if user A created a database called A, user B created a database called B, C. Like that we have different kinds of database. A database consists of customer table, product table. B database consists of uh, laptop table, mobile table. C database consists of medical as well as a doctor. Different kinds of user, like we have in laptop, right? At the time of uh, entering the password, after switching on your laptop or PC, you will get a notification to enter the password, right? The same way we have different kinds of users, like we have admin, user one, user two, different users, right? Like similar way we have different kinds of users while maintaining a database. So we have three users, user A, user B, user C. So these three users created three databases. How many databases we have created? Three databases. So what are those databases? The databases names are A, B and C. So each database has two tables. Okay. So what is the meaning of two tables? So A database has how many tables? Two tables. B database has two tables. C database has two tables. So A database has two tables. The tables are customer and product. So B database has laptop and mobile. C has two data tables, medical and doctor. So A database has two tables, right? B database has two tables, C and two tables. So just remember, guys. So if A, B, C, okay, there are three users, A, B, C users, right? If these three users have not created any password, if they have not created any user ID and password, what will happen? Okay, if they have not used any credentials, what will happen? So A user can steal B and C information. So A user can steal B and C database information. B user can steal A and C information. C user can steal B and A information. So if they have access to other data, what will happen? So security concern. So what happens, guys? There's a lot of information will be stolen, so lots of problems will be occurred. So in order to prevent those problems, those in order to stop this kind of problems, we have DCL commands. Okay, so DBA, so the full form of DBA is database administrator. So he is the person who performs all kinds of, so who gives privileges. So he will allocate privileges for all the users that operate the database. Okay, so he gives privilege. Privileges means what? Access. So what kind of access that he gives? Right. Okay, access to users who operate the database. Okay, guys, understood? Yeah, so DBA is a person who gives privileges to the users, rights to the users who operate it. What kind of privileges he gives? So there are two commands that we use in DCL. One is grant, and second one is revoke. Grant means giving all kinds of permissions. Grant permissions, giving permissions. Like user, suppose if I have given grant user A, suppose if I have a command called grant all privileges, grant all, suppose like grant all, if there is a command called grant all privileges, if I type that, so then user A has the capacity, he has all the rights to perform all kinds of operations inside the database. He can delete a database, he can update, he can do all kinds of operations. So what is meant by revoke? Revoke means taking back. Taking back all kinds of permissions. Suppose if I have given permission to a user, all privileges, granting all privileges. Suppose if I have given all privileges to a user, then he can perform all kinds of operations like deletion of database, updation, retrieval, all kinds of. Suppose if I have given only few operations, suppose I have given operations, limited operations like update, create, only I have given two operations. So B user can update and create, but he cannot delete. Why? Because I have not given delete operation, I have given only two privileges. Understood, guys? So this is how we grant privileges to the users. So what is meant by revoke? Revoke means taking back. So I have given all privileges to A. Suppose if this user uh, performs any kind of if that A user is performing any kind of illegal uh, operations for the software industry, or else for the persons who he has been working for, so then he has been blacklisted. Okay, he has been blacklisted. So what I will do is I'm going to perform revoke operation by taking back all the privileges that I have given for him. Okay, this command stops giving all privileges. Okay, it will not perform, so user AI cannot perform any kind of operation. These are the two commands you need to remember in DCL. The fourth one is TCL. Okay, so what is meant by TCL? So TCL means, so the fourth one is TCL or what? Yeah, sorry, TCS. The fourth one is TCS. So the full form of TCS is transaction control statement. Remember guys, the full form of TCS is transaction control statements. So what is the use of transaction control statements? So what what the commands that we have in DML? We have insert, we have update, and we have delete. So these are the commands that we have in DML, right? So what kind of things we do in DML? So we insert data, we update data, we delete data in database, right? Okay. So after performing all the operations, okay. So suppose if I have performed insert operation, the next immediate step is I have to save that transaction. I have to save that transaction. If I have not saved the transaction, it will not reflect in the output. It may not reflect in some RDBMS softwares. Okay, so if you have saved that commands, so you can view all the commands that we have typed also. Okay, list of commands. So we have few TCS commands. The TCS transaction control statements are commit. Okay, so we have commit, we have a rollback, and we have save point. Okay, so we have set a transaction. So these are the four commands that we have in transaction control statements. So commit means save, rollback means taking back. So like in general PC we do control S and control R, undo and redo operation. It is similar to undo and redo, control R and control S. Yeah, it's similar to undo and redo operation. Save point means up to which point you need to save. So these are the commands that you we are going to learn in the future, in the coming videos, in the coming classes. Okay, so these are the four commands that we have in TCS. So the last category is DAS. So the last category is DAS. So what is meant by DAS? So the full form of DAS is data administrative statements. So data administrative statements. So what is the use of data administrative statements? So what is the use of data administrative statements? So it helps users to perform. So these data administrative statements helps users to perform audits, okay, and analysis of operations within the database. Okay, so what is mean by audits and analysis? So we run queries. Generally, we run queries in RDBMS softwares, right? So we need to know how that commands internally working. Like what I mean to say is whether the command is running quickly or whether the command is uh, running without any kind of obstructions. Is there any obstructions while running the commands? So this DAS commands checks all the kind of operations that we have performed in the database. What kind of whether it is performing within the time, whether it is executing within the time, whether it is slowing the results within the time. So these kind of operations that it helps to check in the database. Okay, so analysis, it provides the reports whether it is executing perfectly within how many seconds. Okay, these kinds of reports you will get from this DAS, administrative statements. Okay, this is the use of that. So it also helps to analyze the performance of the system. So it also helps to analyze the performance of the system. So what is meant by performance? So what is the performance? So how your RDBMS software is working. Okay, how your queries are executing, how your queries are displaying the results. So okay, it helps to analyze the performance, whether it is performing quickly, slowly, or else it has any kind of obstructions. Okay, it helps. These are the DAS commands that helps to perform this kind of operations. So we have two DAS commands. One is start audit and second one is stop audit. So these are the two commands that we have in DAS. Okay, so we have lots of commands. Okay, so create, update, insert, delete, retrieve, grant, revoke, commit, save, rollback. So in order to remember all these commands, it becomes very difficult. Okay, so in order to remember these commands easily, so SQL has divided these commands into specific categories. So SQL has divided into 5 categories. Each category holds some command, each category holds that commands. Okay, DDL has create, alter, and delete. So DML has insert, update, and delete. DCL has grant and revoke. TCS has commit, rollback, save point, and send transaction. DAS has start edit and stop edit. So if we remember these categories, we can easily remember the SQL commands. So that's why SQL has divided commands into 5 categories. So I hope you have understood what are the categories that we have in SQL. Thank you.